Alright, so this week was one of the saddest weeks for me as I did end up blowing my 50k funded account with Top Step. I've had for just about half a year now. Things really just weren't going my way the past week and it's been really tough, but I'm still keeping consistent every day outside of the charts, so surely things will work out, right? So starting off the week, we did have a nice push higher throughout the entire day with us currently sitting above this unfilled hourly support, and we did continue nicely off of Asia and the low time frame was providing great confluences for the long. I do want to wait and see if we continue with that power, and coming into the session we did end up getting a clean retest into the 15-minute support, which price immediately bounced from. This immediately got pushed right back down though, and this actually ended up tapping the hourly support from earlier, so if we did get some clean continuation from here, I was happy for some buys. And we immediately followed up with clean volume, which is what I wanted to see. So with price displacing strongly and getting this inverse, I did decide to enter into this setup. And this trade immediately bounced cleanly. We really were just flying high, and honestly it looked like we were going to get our target pretty quickly, but then price got smacked straight down. Not even any hesitation either, because price just went immediately to hit my stop for a really sad loss today. And this loss did kill off my funded account that's been carrying me for a while. I did manage to get a payout from it, which was nice, but it really sucks that this down period eventually killed off the account. But the thing with the trade today, I don't think there's anything inherently wrong with it. There was a clean retest followed up with clean displacement, and I took it targeting a realistic target with the volume we were seeing at the time. And I don't know where the smackdown decided to come from, but we immediately pushed right back up, so that's just great, man. I'm not unhappy with the stop placement today either. Yes, it could have been at the swing low if I was predicting a massive wave lower that would barely miss the prominent low, but with volume being strong to the buy side, this would have been less likely, so I would have had it trailed up a little anyways. But I don't know, man. Honestly, it just sucks. Alrighty, so we're on a fresh 50k Lucid Flex account today, and looking at price though, this honestly wasn't the ideal day for me to trade. We got a really clean continuation signature off the Asia lows, and price was pushing pretty aggressively to the downside while respecting this hourly order block the whole way, and because of that I wanted to see a bit more development before getting involved. At this point it just looked pretty bearish overall with no real signs of accumulation, and I did have one potential idea pop up when this new 5-minute order block formed, and we got a nice retest into the 1-minute OTE, but I ended up passing on it because it wasn't the cleanest setup. It was more of an intuitive idea that I thought could work, but it wasn't something that I had high conviction in. And not long after market open hit and price immediately dumped. It was bought back up pretty quickly though, so a reversal didn't seem completely off the table. And after waiting for another 5-minute candle to form, we finally got this new order block, and price retested it really cleanly with the 1-minute OTE. Honestly, this is where I should have entered, but as you'll see, I hesitated, and that hesitation probably costed me the best part of the move. And instead, I entered after the next candle close with enough strength to give me the confidence I was looking for. And I can't even lie, this trade actually ran really well. Price pushed almost immediately into the overlapping targets, and that's where I decided to move my stop to break even. And since this trade was against the higher time frame trend, I wasn't too confident in holding it for an extended move. It honestly looked like this trade was in the bag. But then we dumped lower and I got tagged out at break even. Overall, I'm not too upset with how price played out today since the trade was counter trend to begin with. The bigger takeaway for me is the hesitation before entering. I fell back into the habit of waiting for just a little more confirmation instead of trusting the setup I already planned, and that delay ended up costing me. Had I executed where I originally wanted to, the trade would have looked a lot cleaner with a better risk to reward and much more room to manage the position. But it's alright, that's part of the process, and I've identified the issue, and now it's just about fixing up that hesitation and building the confidence with my model to execute when my plan is already there. And if I can clean that up, it'll be one less thing holding me back. Alrighty boys, so today I did end up trading on Wednesday because I had work the next day, so because of that we're just coming back to do a little bit of a reflection. But yeah, coming into today's session we did end up getting a sweep of the London lows. Honestly, looking at the high time frame, we're looking a lot more bullish because we had this 4-hour gap, and then we had a sweep of these lows because at the time we didn't have any of these later on candles, so this would have looked like a very bullish reaction because we sweeped it and then there were 2 weak bearish candles after that. And hourly we also had a bullish order block over here, so obviously that makes it even more apparent we might go for some longs. That was my initial outlook, but I ended up hopping off because it was a little bit conflicted and I didn't really have high confidence in today's price action, so yeah, just avoided it. But yeah, we had this 15-minute gap that was unfilled completely until market open. We also created this nice range to play off of. You can see more clearly on the 5-minute that we ended up pushing lower, and then we had a nice retest during market open, and this retested into the 15-minute gap and the OTE really nicely. And this would have looked a little bit bullish because you see we took out the London lows and then we immediately wicked it and then pushed higher. So I guess this would have been a more intuitive setup because we retested it really cleanly and then we immediately got some bearish price action coming in. So maybe we could have waited for this sell candle to come in for some confirmation, retest, and then the next candle would be confirmation, stop at the high, and then target at the low. Something like that. That could have been a pretty decent trade. But for me, I think because I was aligning more for the long, this would have been a little bit of a harder trade to find. But regardless, I think this opportunity was a pretty good one. You can see that it provided a pretty good risk to reward. And yeah, this is one that I would have needed high confidence in to get the right risk to reward, get the right everything. So it would have been a clean trade. Yeah, that's definitely what I was saying that I needed to work on from Tuesday. That's all right. I think it was still an all right day to avoid, even though it provided a clean setup. But yeah, that's pretty much it for Wednesday. Alright, today was honestly a masterclass in position management. Looking at price coming into the session, we did have a slow crawl higher throughout the entire day, eventually taking out Asia highs and leaving behind a nice wick on the higher time frame. And that move also created this hourly order block that price was now coming back to retest. On the lower time frame, things lined up pretty well too, and we were getting a controlled pullback into that hourly level, and it overlapped nicely with the low time frame OTE. So at this point, I mainly wanted to see how price would react from this area. And thankfully, we got that reaction pretty quickly as price started tapping into the imbalance overlaps. We shopped around here for a bit, but after one final dip lower, buyers stepped in almost immediately, which is exactly what I wanted to see. And once that reaction confirmed the setup for me, I went ahead and entered the trade. Honestly, this trade was less about the entry and more about the management. Like, looking at the whole overall narrative, there were definitely some conflicting signals. We had that wick of the highs suggesting maybe that we could push lower, but we were also retesting into bearish high time frame imbalances as well. And since the setup formed just before market open, I was expecting volatility to pick up too. That volatility could have easily pushed price all the way up to the prominent highs, which was my original target, but at the same time it also increases the chances of a sharp reversal before getting there. And because of that, I decided to play it a bit safer and just go for a 1-to-1 today instead. And initially price gave us a nice bounce before getting slammed back down. Then right around market open, we got one last sweep low that barely missed my stop, and after that price railed exactly as I planned and tagged out take profit perfectly. And I'm really happy with how I managed to position today. Like, going for the 1-to-1 target ended up being the right decision. Price barely tapped my TP before reversing hard and selling off. So if I'd held out shoot for the moon target, this would have turned into a missed opportunity. Overall, it's just a really clean trade and a good reminder that solid trade management can just be as important as finding the setup itself. Now it's just more about staying consistent and stacking good decisions and, you know, letting that momentum build back up even further. Alright boys, that wraps up this week, and a pretty bad week with me losing my funded account, which is really sad. Honestly, when that happened, I was spiraling down hard because I'm staying consistent with my model, with my backtesting, my everyday habits, but then things just didn't work out, as probability does play a factor in this trading thing. And because of that, I did end up losing the trade and losing the account. There were things I could have improved, like I said on Tuesday. We did start getting into the groove of things on Thursday, which was really nice. You know, salvage what could have been a really bad week. But yeah, honestly, I think the momentum has slowed down a lot from where it was a few months ago, but I can't blame anything else other than me. I became more reserved, and that caused me to not see any opportunities in the market, and that isn't realistically playing off of my model since it's not taking all the opportunities that appear, and that adds a level of unpredictability to my win rate depending on which setups I take. And I think I did get complacent with thinking I knew everything that I could about my model and what I could do to improve it. Even keeping my mind in shape backtesting this model, I did stall for a bit, and that added to me rusting up and slowing down my momentum. It's alright though, we'll bounce back harder from this like we always do. You know, what else would we do if we didn't? But yeah, I'm gonna leave it there for this week. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys did enjoy, then please feel free to show some love down below. Your support really means the world to me. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.